Welcome to the Tiny Racers devlog series. This is devlog number 2. We didn't do anything crazy with this one. Just simply added a phone to the game that the player character can use to kind of navigate things in the world environment, like start races, shop for car parts, access the settings for the game, and so on. So, like I said, we didn't go crazy with it. This devlog should be fairly simple, but I'd like to get right into it, so let's go. Okay, so before I kick things off really with the phone, I decided I wanted to take care of something that was kind of bothering me, and that was the fact that there's no windows in the house. So I threw together a few models in Blender, and I made a horizontal 6-pane window and a vertical 6-pane window so they didn't look really terrible stretched out. Using Unity's snapping tool and the nifty article I found that lets you scale in one direction or the other instead of Unity's default of both, I was able to place the windows with relative amount of ease. So yeah, I'll go ahead and let that play through. So I wanted to make the phone canvas a child of the player prefab. Unfortunately, the character switcher deletes the first child every time you switch a character. So I tried to find the character model tag and delete it that way, but I ended up realizing that defining a variable and using that instead would be more efficient and less prone to error. And with that, I decided to start building the basic phone UI. So with a panel and a dream, I decided to go for it. I tried to use my window resizing trick from earlier to scale the elements based on their parent sizing. After struggling for a bit with that, I kind of realized that you're not supposed to scale UI elements necessarily, but instead use their bounding box to kind of move their edges around. So I seemed to be doing okay until I got to the battery level indicator, and I was having a lot of issues. I thought I knew what I was doing. I didn't. As per usual, I'm an imposter. So I took a little break and decided to start working on some icons, and so basically pulled all my icons from Ionic, which is a super useful app development framework. They just happen to have a bunch of really cool icons that I wanted to use. I also needed to turn all of them white. They're only going to be temporary, as I'll be replacing most of the app icons with ones that are specific to our game made by us. So before I got into editing the icons, I did a little bit of reviewing of a tutorial which one of the project members shared with me from SpeedTutor. The video is specifically meant to replicate a Grand Theft Auto phone screen, but I decided that I wanted to ultimately make a little bit of changes, but for right now we kind of copied the idea. But this channel is awesome, check it out, and this video was super duper useful and I reference it multiple times throughout the rest of the clips. So with the power of teamwork or SpeedTutor telling me how to do everything, I started over completely and rebuilt the UI the way that he did it. He uses a wonderful scroll bar method for the battery level indicator, which I was trying to originally replicate, but I sucked at. And then of course he introduced me to the grid layout view, which enabled me to sort all of the app icons the way that I wanted to. Thank you, SpeedTutor. So now comes the fun part. I created a render texture and set it to the size of the phone. I set up the render texture camera and went into Blender to 3D model a phone. When I came back out though, the texture wasn't rendering like I wanted it to, but I had to realize that I'm an idiot and the cameras I wanted to use were completely disabled. So once I figured that out, the texture was loading fine. I just needed to fix a little bit of the UV mapping issue so that it showed up in the right orientation. I did some testing with the model, and I was facing some transparency issues, so I went back in and did a little bit of modification so that there was no transparency behind the screen. But it turned out okay. So after brainstorming a few different ideas, I kind of concluded that the original idea I wanted to go with wasn't really going to work out for this devlog. I wanted the player to be holding the phone so that you could look directly at it when you pull it up, and with a special animation for the character. And I really like that touch of realism in this low poly cartoon style game. But I determined between issues with the event camera variable not working and having to make a new animation and a bit of camera work happen, I decided to just wait on that, but I am going to put that functionality into the game later, so it should be better. I settled on sliding the phone in and out of view with the press of an input key. I figured it would be easier and solve the problem a little bit sooner. After all, it is a racing game, and I feel like it should be more about the cars. So we're in the final leg here. So I set up a race list screen using a scroll view, vertical content layout, and some layout elements. After a bit of messing around with the different elements, I wrote up a few basic scripts and functions to handle the view stack, which would enable using the back button when you're in the app. And then next is going to be loading a new race with the race view. We're going to see that on the next devlog when we actually start working on the racing aspect of the game. I'm super excited. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video so far. Let me know if there's anything I could do better. I tried to make a few improvements from the last one. But ultimately, you as the viewers are the best judges, and I need your valuable opinions. If you want to stay closely up to date with our development progress or chat with any of the developers, feel free to join our Discord group with the link in the description. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.